da 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 da.
Hey everyone, Shua Fan here, application engineer at Sontek. Today we're going to be talking about how deep you should install your sidelooker. The Sontek sidelookers, whether they be the SL3G version or the argonaut-sl version, use what we call a narrow shaded transducer. So that being said, these transducers have acoustic pings that start spreading as they go through the water. And with the SLs, there's a total of a 3-degree spread as the beam goes through the water. And to illustrate that, I'm just going to share with you an image of an SL3G 1500 in the water. That's what you should see on your screen. And what you can see is that as we're mounted on the side of the river, we see the beam spreading as we go to the opposite bank. And there's going to be a point where the beam either hits the bank or hits the water surface or the water bottom. And to decide at what depth you want to place your SL, we want to keep in mind something we call an aspect ratio. For the SLs here, the aspect ratio we usually recommend is 1 to 20. So that means that for 1 meter in the vertical, you can go 20 meters in the horizontal before you need to worry about hitting the top or the bottom or any obstacle. So that's just a number to keep in mind as you're planning your installation. So when you're actually installing a system, how deep you install the system obviously requires you to know the full range of the water levels that you'll be experiencing at that site. So you don't want to install too shallow that your instrument actually is out of the water part of the time, or actually hits the water surface before you go far enough horizontally. But also you don't want to install too deep so that it doesn't reach far enough before hitting the bottom. So when in doubt, always look at the BeamCheck or the diagnostic plots that are available to you. And this is easily done in the SL software. So let me just show you the SL3G software and what the BeamCheck data actually look like. So what you should see here is the SL software, and I'm showing you data from a site in Yuma, Arizona. And let me just show you the system configuration where you can see the channel geometry. And this is a very simple trapezoidal channel, and you can see the SL3G installed here, and we're looking at the opposite bank. And you'll notice that the opposite bank here occurs right around maybe 20 meters distance. So if I look at the diagnostic data, this is the BeamCheck data, we'll be able to see a very large reflection here, this big bump in the two beams, right before about 20 meters. And this is what we expect. The beams are hitting the opposite bank. And we see a nice smooth acoustic signal before that, which is great. If you do see a signal, a big bump, before you expect to reach the opposite bank, you'll know that you have some sort of interruption in the middle of your actual measurement. And this could be a beam hitting the water surface, hitting the bottom of the channel, or a tree trunk or some obstacle in between. So this is just one way you can use the diagnostic or BeamCheck tool to decide if you've installed in a proper depth for your site. I hope these tips helped you today. That's all I have for you, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining.